Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Krista and today I'm going to show you how to make some of these Christmas gnomes. Now you can use whatever supplies you want. I will give you the basic instructions and you can create them however you like. So the supply list will be listed in the video as well as a template for the gnome hat. I will also try to put it down below, so please check for that. If you like this video, please click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, and if you create some of these, hop on over to my Facebook page, Krista So Crafty, and share your creations. I would really love to see them. So without further ado, let's get crafting. Hey guys, so these are the little gnomes that we're going to be making today. Some little Christmas gnomes. It's hard to get them all in the picture, but there they are, cute as a button. Yes, so we're going to make some of these. So it's kind of a long list of supplies, so let's just jump right into it. So I have these cones that I got off of some yarn that I was gifted a while ago. It's a sporty weight type sport yarn, machine knitting. Anyways, once you empty all this, you get this cone. I thought I'm going to try to use this cone to make these gnomes. That's what the base of the gnome is. Now you can purchase styrofoam cones from the dollar store, Michael's, Walmart type thing, but I'm going to use this. This one is about 7 inches, so about that. That's kind of the measurements that I'm using to make my little gnomes. I think the cones from the dollar store, the Walmart, Michael's, are a little bit bigger than this. I think they're about 8 inches maybe, so you might have to adjust your material a little bit, but pretty much you'll be able to take these instructions and make a gnome. So you'll need a cone. Now the gnome has a hat, so I will include this in the instructions, probably down below. I'm going to try to figure out how to do that. Anyway, so when you go to cut this out, I put a square in the center here, and it's a 1-inch square. So when you print this out, print it out at 100%, and then just measure that, and as long as that's approximately 1 inch, you should have no problems with your hat. It should be about the size that you need to make the gnome. Okay, so to make the gnome hat, I'm just using some felt, and I just put this on top of the felt and traced it out, and I did 2 of them. Okay, so you need 2 of those. You will need a piece of fun fur for your gnome. This is about 4 by 4.5, and I will show you how to cut this. There is a trick to cutting fun fur if you've never used it before. You'll need a piece of material. Now I've got this cheetah print. Anyways, that's what I'm going to use to cover the base of to cover the cone. So this material is about 9 inches by 7 inches. So if you have a piece of material that's 9 by 7, you should be good. Okay, you'll also need some embroidery floss and a large needle, a needle with a large eye, so that I sewed, let's see if I can get this here. I sewed my hat together. Now you could just hot glue it together as well. You don't have to sew it, but I kind of thought I liked the looks of this blanket stitch, so I'll show you how to do that. Oh, what else are we going to need here? You're going to need some embellishments. So I just have some stuff picked out here. I also have a bell. Didn't hear before. I have a little bell on the end of his hat. A bell. And of course every gnome has a nose. Now this is just a bead that I had from an old necklace. So that's what I'm using. You can see the holes on it there, but when I put it in, I'll put it on an angle so that the holes are covered up inside the hat. What else are you going to need? You're going to need, if you may or may not need this depending on what you're using for embellishments. I have a wire cutter. You will need some sort of an X-Acto knife or a sharp blade to cut your fun fur. A pair of scissors, hot glue gun, and glue sticks. All we need. So let's jump into this. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. As far as your fun fur goes, on the back there's like a, I don't know, like a meshy, canvasy kind of type material. You don't want to just take a pair of scissors and cut it, because you'll end up cutting the fur, and you want as much of this part left on. So what I do is I take my X-Acto knife. Now what I did with that, with a piece of fun fur, and like I said, the measurement on that is approximately 4.5 by 4. So what I did is I just took a ruler and a pencil and drew a line from the corner down into the center of the fun fur. So I just folded this in half, found the center, and just put a little mark there. And then I took my ruler and I drew a line. So those are going to be my cutting lines, okay? I have my X-Acto knife. Now, when you go to do this, you want to use fairly firm pressure, but you don't want to cut all the way through to the other side. So basically, you're cutting the fibers. Okay, so it's hard to get started. So just be very careful. And of course, you want to be very careful with this. It is very sharp. If you've ever been cut by one of these, you'll know how much it hurts. All right, so I've got it started there. So I'm just kind of taking and pulling it apart a little bit with my hands and just cutting right down on that line. Again, I'm using a firm pressure. Get my fingers out of the way there. Firm pressure, but not cutting all the way through, okay? So just cut those fibers. I think my blade's getting dull. I've made a few things with fun fur lately. Okay, so once you do that, then you can just pull it away, and you will have some extra stuff, so just kind of pull it off like that. And now we'll do the other side. Just gently, gently cutting through those fibers. Now the other thing is, you're not going to see the back of this, so don't worry about your lines if you don't get exactly on the line. If you want your gnome's beard to be a little wider, go ahead and cut it a little wider. It's totally up to you. This is your project. So, all right, just about done here. There we go. Put my cover on here. All right, so we'll pull that off and pull the extra stuff off. And there I've got my little beard for my gnome. Okay, there. And don't throw these away. You never know, you might be able to make a small gnome. If you've seen my other video I have for making gnome ornaments, these actually would be the perfect size. You could cut it along here and you'd have a little beard. Anyway, have our beard all cut out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cone. Now this cone did not have a base on it, a bottom. It was just a hollow tube. So I took a piece of plastic canvas and I cut it out and I just hot glued it onto the bottom. If you're using styrofoam, it won't matter because of course it's a solid. Here's my piece of material, and I just decided to go with this just to be fun. Why not, right? So we're going to put it on the wrong side. Now when you go to glue the material onto the cone, you don't want it to go all the way up to the top, because if you look at the gnome, you're not going to see that, right? The top, this part, good 2 inches, you're not going to see. Bring your cone down a bit like this. Sorry, this way. Let's try that again. You want to be able to wrap this around and cover everything, okay? So basically this is what you're going to do. You're going to wrap it around and make sure that all of the cone is covered. And you might have some extra, which is fine. We can cut that off. I did put a piece of felt on the bottom just to cover up all the mess from, you know, bringing the material around. So let's get into doing that. I'll get my glue gun here. And I like to start on one side. So just kind of pull it up and wrap it around. You want it tight, but not super tight. So then just fold this back, and I put the glue right onto the material. Okay, so just run a bead of glue. All the way on there. Okay. And then just flop it on down there. Push it in there, let it get cool down a bit. And you want to make sure that your material is all flat all the way around. Okay. The big thing is you want it to cover. Now this right here is the trickiest spot to cover. Okay, so you just kind of give it a little tug, depending on what type of material you're using, but most material has a little bit of tug, a little bit of wiggle room, so give that a tug. Now, you can just wrap this around and just glue it, but what I like to do is take my scissors and I'm going to trim off that extra piece. So this time I'm going to take the glue and I'm going to put it along the piece that's already glued down, because that's my mark. I know where I need to go to. So put some glue on here. Okay, and again, bring your material up and around. And get it on there so there's no wrinkles. You want it nice and smooth all the way around. Push that glue in. Okay, so now I've got this extra little bit. I'm just going to take my scissors and cut it off. It's going to be on the back of the gnome, and for a lot of it will be covered anyways, so there. So that's all done. So now with this part, what I did is I folded it under and just kind of tucked it, and then I'm just going to glue it down. Okay, so just put some glue there and start putting your material down. And then just keep going and get that all worked around in there. I need another glue stick. Alright, and yes, I'm using a fair amount of glue. I want this to be on here really tight. Okay, and like I said, don't worry too much about the bottom. We are going to cover it. Try to make it as flat as you can. Hot. There. That will be good. It's going to stand up nice. All right, so then the next thing we need to do is we need to work on our hat. So as far as the hat goes, what I did, so when you cut it out, I just used a black Jiffy marker and traced around it and cut it out. Don't worry about the marks because they're going to be on the inside. Take your felt and fold it in half, and then when you cut it out, you have two pieces that are identical. When you're looking at your hat, this part here, so on your template, this piece here is the opening for the gnome's face. So we don't want to be sewing that shut, okay? So this part here. I need my needle. I'm using black thread because I want my black embroidery floss, because I want my stitching to show. So now if you want, like I said, you could glue it. You could just run a small bead of glue along the inside of the hat and stick it down so you don't have to sew it. But I kind of like the idea of it being stitched. So, all right, so I'm just going to tie a knot in my thread. And I'm going to start at the back. With my embroidery floss, I just take it and I want my knot on the inside. So I start on the inside of this one and get my knot inside. Okay, now to do blanket stitch, I think it's called, I go from the back and come up in the front. This is to start, okay, just to get my first line of stitching there going. Then I bring my thread to the back and I come through the back about, I don't know, what is that? Whoops. About a 1/4 inch apart, I think, is what I usually do. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, even a 1/2 inch. If you come up and start doing this with every 1/2 inch. So you come up through the back so your loop is over top, and before you pull it tight, take your needle and put it through the loop. And what this does is it creates a little band like this as it's going across. Okay? So we'll continue on here. So my thread is at the back. I'm just going to go about a 1/2 inch over and come up through the back, pull my thread, and then go through the loop. And just continue around. So you're going to go all the way around and you're going to stop here. You're going to do a knot and stop here. So the bottom and this side are left open. So we'll just continue on. Hi guys, I'm not sure what happened there, but I lost some of my video for stitching my hat, so I'm just going to continue on. Alright, so I only have a couple more stitches here left to do. So we'll just finish this up and then we can continue on with our gnome. So we'll just get down into these last little bits so that he's all stitched up. Do one more. There we go. Alright, so then now what I do is I just go on into the inside and I just make a little knot. Do it again just to make sure it's secure. And then we'll just cut our thread, and I leave a little bit. It's going to be up inside the gnome. You just kind of tuck it up inside there. And there's the little hat. Isn't that so cute? The short side is for the front, and this long side will be the part that comes down. Oops, sorry, I did that backwards. The long side is for the front of the gnome, and this back is the piece across there. Alright, so this is all done. We'll decorate it after. I think I forgot to mention that you will also need a little bit of batting, something to stuff your gnome with. What I do is I just take little pieces at a time and get it up, right up into the tip of that hat. You can get your finger in there, you can use a chopstick if you want, pencil works good too. Just get that stuffing right up, be careful of your stitches, right up into the tip of that hat. I think I started out with a little bit too much stuff in there. There we go. That's better. Okay, and then we'll just continue on a little bit at a time. Just pushing it right up into there. You can make it as stiff as you want, I guess. Depends on how you want your gnome to be, so your gnome hat to be. Okay, so let's take a little bit more. Now you don't want to stuff the whole entire hat, because when you go to put your hat on your base, you need to have room for your hat to sit on here like this, okay? About that much stuffing is probably good. So basically just where it starts to kind of fan out there. Okay, so that'll be good. Put that to the side. And I'm going to put that to the side. So now what we can do is we can, one of two things. You can either sew your bell on or you can glue it on. I choose to glue it on. It's not like it's going anywhere, so just put a little tiny bit of glue and just stick it right on the end there. So I just take my glue and put a little bit where the tie would be. And then just kind of figure out where you want your bell, and then just push it on there and just hold it a few minutes so that gives the glue a chance to bond and to cool down and to stick. Yeah, there. All right, so now what we can do is you can take your cone, and the piece where you put it together in the back, where your seam is, so to speak, you're going to put that to the back of the gnome. So again, you'll just take and place your cone inside here and kind of make sure it's all going to fit nice. Just smooth it down. Okay, and then we can start gluing it. So how I do it is I start at the back. Just going to turn mine a little bit more there. Start at the back, and I put a little bit of glue right in the section of the hat where we started stitching. Get my little thread in there. And then just stick it down. Okay, so we're just going to continue gluing around there. And I got glue all over me. I'm just going to do a little bit of the back just to kind of get it stabilized. So just putting about halfway around just for now. Push it down, make sure it's nice and smooth, get it all smoothed down. Okay, push it into the fibers. And then we'll do the same on this side, about halfway. And this is just so we can get started here. All right. There, it's starting to take shape. The next step is to put his beard on. Now, one thing I like to do is try it out first, see if you're going to like it. The idea is you want to put the fun fur up inside of the hat, kind of stick it in there, make sure it's going to be where you want it. You know, get your point in the center, which mine is just off. Kind of line it up that way, right in there. I think that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift up my beard where it is, and I'm going to put some glue underneath here. So just up here, just reach up inside, put a little strip in there so you can get it basted down, so to speak. Okay, get your gnome beard, get them all centered there. Just getting it stuck in there. And then I like to just take and put some glue. Sorry, I was out of camera there. Just put some glue on the bottom here. Basically, you just want to tack it down there so it's not going to move. Okay, so get that all laid down in there. And just push it down in there. Again, push it into the fibers. Okay. I'm just going to sneak a little bit of glue up here. Now you don't want to glue the hat yet. You're just gluing the beard, okay? So I'm just going to use my scissors to, there we go, get that beard into the glue. Oh, goodness sakes here. All right, so now the next step is to put his nose on. So whatever it is you're going to use for your nose. I mean, you could use a bead, you could use wooden balls, like you can buy them at hardware stores and stuff, or even in the craft section at Michael's or at Walmart. I'm just going to use this one. So I'm just going to take a little dab of glue on there and get my gnome turned around here and put it up inside. And again, because I'm using a bead that has holes from where the string was, I'm just making sure that mine is up far enough so that you can't see the holes from the string. All right, so once you're satisfied with how it's looking, get him all trimmed around there. You can put a little bit more glue around the hat and around the nose, just so that it all sticks. I'm going to put a little bit on this side. There we go. Just kind of push it down and around there. There we go. Isn't it cute? A few other things you can do. I've seen some gnomes where they just leave these down flat, the side pieces, or you can, oops, I got my beard tucked up here. Hold on. I don't know what happened there. There we go. I was wondering why there was a lump in his side of his head. There we go. Anyways, like I was saying, you can either just leave him hanging down, or a little trick, if you take a pencil and you wrap the felt, you can actually do a little bit of a curl on them. I think on this one I'm just going to leave him down, but just you have some options there, okay? All right, so now we need to put some embellishments on his hat. I have these things here. I'm just going to see what I can come up with. You can use whatever you want. I mean, this is just some stuff I had laying around the house. So I'm going to take this little guy, this little sprig of pine, and I'm just going to glue it onto the side of him right here. So I'll just put a dollop of glue and stick that in there, just like that. Okay. And then I think I'm going to put this little gold thing. I think it's off of some sort of like a pin or stick or whatever they're called. You know, you find them in dollar store and Walmart and Michael's, they have them. I just pulled one apart and this was part of it, so. Okay, and then I have this little ball. I thought it might be kind of cute, make them festive. So I'm just putting some glue on the end of it here. And then I'll just put it in here like this and just hold it for a minute or two. Glue strings everywhere. And then I don't know, I was thinking I might put this little snowflake on there because it's kind of cute. So just going to put a little dab of glue right here just to kind of cover up the end of that that little pine twig thing there, whatever it's called. So there we go. Alright, so the last thing we need to do is to put our base on. And the other thing, you can leave his beard down like this, or if you take a pencil or a needle or something like that, or even a comb if you have one, you can kind of take and part his right under his nose. So you kind of make like a, sorry, I gotta face it my way for a second here. Kind of make a little, give him a little mustache. I think it looks cute. They look cute with a little mustache. Give them some character. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna put the piece of felt on the bottom and then we'll be done. All right, so here I have some felt, and I just found a round, this is a Tetley Pure Peppermint Tea container, and I'm just gonna use it to draw a circle. Okay, so you probably won't be able to see this, but I will be able to see it to cut it. So basically you're just wanting to have a circle of felt that you can cut out and put on the bottom of your gnome just to clean it up. Now I'm going to cut on the inside of this circle because I want it a little bit smaller. I don't want the felt to come out over the edge of the gnome. I don't want to be able to see it. Alright, so get this cut out. And then we're just going to attach it onto the bottom here. Just like that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to run a bead of glue all the way around. You want to go, don't want to go real close to the edge, but you want to make sure that it's going to be tacked down. And then I just put some in the middle and take your piece of felt and center it, and it just hides that mess. And then you just push down on it, make sure it's on there good and snug, and there you have it. Your gnome is done. I really hope you guys like these. If you make some, I would love to see what you've come up with. There's so many different ways that you can decorate and add character to these little guys. I would love it if you would share pictures with me. You can hop on over to Facebook to my page, which is Krista's So Crafty. I would love to see it. So here's my little gnome family. 1, 2, and 3. I had so much fun making these. I hope you guys enjoy making them as well. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye for now.